What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. Now, I said I had these uploads for you. Gonna keep these uploads coming because that's what I do. Now, before I proceed, let me just say we're heading into 2025. Heading into some good things. You know what I'm saying? New ventures, new avenues, new year. Out with the old and with the new. But one thing I will say about the quality and the content of my channel, it will never change. Okay? Never change. So, with that being said, if you're watching this video around children, please remove them from your immediate vicinity. If you're watching this video around children, please remove them from your immediate vicinity. My videos are not for children. Also, to be honest, this does not constitute anything anti-government. I can't be anti-self because we, the people, are the government. This does not constitute anything of legal advice. The sole purpose of this information is for educational purposes only, and I am not a lawyer. If indeed you do require the services of a lawyer, please go obtain one, pay your fiat, and use their services. Is what it is. I'm giving out strictly general advice on things that I use in my own personal life according to the law. Now, the title of this video is called Specific Negative Averment. The right to keep and bear arms. Now, I want y'all to pay very, very close attention to me. Because what I'm getting ready to say is probably going to shake the foundations of a lot of people's consciousness. And it's also going to strike a couple feathers of the agents, you know what I'm saying, who basically want to keep majority of the population in the matrix with them. But here I am, an individual about to show you from my own personal experience and from documentation and from express reference to law, requisite law, and positive law, I should say, and simplistic legal explanation. Now, you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can take it and use it for what it's worth, or you could be an agent and just sit on your thumbs. Because last time I checked, agents like to sit on both of their thumbs. It is what it is. But the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, this is for everybody whose doppelganger has a record. And I want to be very expressly allowed to say this in a respectful sense. If you have a relative who is incarcerated underneath these pretexts, I want you to pay, or if you are incarcerated, this is 2024. Cell phones are everywhere. I don't give a damn. So if you are incarcerated, I suggest you pay very close attention to this. Now, I am not a lawyer, but I'm just a man who likes to read. Okay? Let's get that straight. Now, let us go to the supreme law of the land, first and foremost as a primary source of reference. This is actually instituted in the Library of Congress. You know that DC 10-mile square area where the seat of government resides? Okay. Second Amendment, Constitution of the United States, although it should say Constitution for the United States, but that was a switch after 1871, DC Organic Act. However, still the same, but now it's just a corporate charter. Stick with me. Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Shall not. There is no consensus of Congress to make any amendment to it. It says shall not. Should it at all, under any condition. What is the purpose of the Second Amendment? In simple terms, right? Let's just keep it simple. It's general. Let's just keep it simple. It protects the right for Americans, natural-born, living people, to possess weapons for the protection of themselves, their rights, and their property. Threefold manifest ideology behind the Second Amendment is to keep yourself safe, your rights, and your property. The original text is written as such: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Second Amendment, Constitution of the United States. Okay? This is not my own conjecture. Now, why do I speak on this situation? Because unfortunately, there are a lot of people in this matrix who have been disproportionately told that they are convicted felons. They have been told that they are convicted felons. Not only that, they cannot possess a firearm of any sort. I am here to shatter the foundation of bullshit and tell you that is a bold-faced fucking lie. I'm going to show you with information from my own personal life that yes, you can own a fucking firearm. Now, here's the difference. They say to keep and bear arms, but the federal corporate government added an extra word to it: firearms. Right? Because gun is just a little bit too explicit. Gun. A little explicit. But it's actually what it was created to be called. However, all of these individual machinations that we use as weaponry, such as rifles, such as carbines, such as handguns, such as shotguns, such as long machine guns, you name it. Each one has a specific class and a specific diversification amongst those people who were into that lane. But they all have a different designation. But they're all regulated by an extra governmental agency called the ATF. The ATF is strictly for taxational purposes. They're not here to protect and serve shit. I mean, hell, they got a whole bureau named after the three main staples of American life: alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. What do all of these have in common? They're all taxable. Alcohol is taxable, tobacco is taxable, and firearms are taxable. That's the only reason why the ATF exists. They're not here to try to take shit off the streets. That's bullshit. They're here to try to make the people who have this in largesse taxable. But that's apples and oranges, according to what I'm getting ready to say. Now, back to what I was saying. Here is a probation contract I signed about 6 years ago. But I want you to listen explicitly to what it's getting ready to say. This is a probation contract I signed about 6 years ago. Under duress, under coercion. But listen very carefully. It says, upon fulfillment of the terms of this sentence, or upon release of the defendant by the court, saying basically, you're done. Time over with. Bye. Prior to the termination of the sentence, notice what it says. Prior, which means before, to the termination of the sentence, the defendant shall stand discharged of said offense without court adjudication of guilt, and shall be completely exonerated of guilt of said offense charged. Meaning, prior to you even leaving jail, you are exonerated and discharged by the court of guilt. But what happens to a lot of us who don't read what's called the fine print? Okay? This is what it says. Right there. Fine print. Now, this is my paperwork. I signed 6 years ago. Now, the problem that a lot of people have to understand, this is the third step. Let's say you happen to possess a firearm and you happen to get accosted by police. They're going to run your information and they're going to try to put the switcheroo 2x2 together, right? Oh, it says that he has a record. Oh, he has a firearm. Now we can charge him with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I just clearly read to you a probation contract I signed, because now I'm about to get to the meat of the situation for you. So now they're going to recharge an already exonerated entity, i.e. my strawman, and allegedly by adhesion say that the strawman is charged with possession of a firearm, but I have to incur the liability because they look at me legally as an ends legis fiction and say, you are a convicted felon. However, upon the face of the document, prima facie evidence, it clearly has an all capitalized name with a number next to it, which is a case number. This is nothing more than an act to get you trapped into their contracting system, i.e. called the justice system. But here's the beautiful thing that's the remedy to it all. I can't be two people at once. You're saying I'm charged with, but on the prima facie evidence, it says the straw man is charged. You just want me to accept and incur the liability. Third tier to the strategy of this all. There's a document that you can compose yourself, and I said it many times on my channel about specific negative averment. The denial of a corporation's existence in accordance with Federal Law of Civil Procedure 9A. So for all you bootlickers out there who like the system, you can't be two people at once. Now, what do? They already got you in the situation by force. You feel, because you've been brainwashed, i.e. misled under the witchcraft of the system, to believe that you're actually guilty. But I just read to you, Second Amendment shall not be infringed. So by me signing that contract 6 years ago under coercion and duress, my rights were directly infringed upon. Because it says shall not be infringed. But then on the contract that people don't tell you, and I'm going to read it for you, for those who doubt, you contract your rights away. But they're not going to tell you this. Because particularly, there's a section on the contract that talks about firearms. There you go. It's a contract. It says if you are convicted of a crime punishable by imprisonment for a term exceeding a year, which is a felony, or a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence where you are or were a spouse, intimate partner, parent, or guardian of the victim, or were involved in any other similar relationship with the victim, it is unlawful for you to possess or purchase a firearm, including a rifle, pistol, revolver, or ammunition, pursuant to federal law. Now, why would federal law be in a state probationary contract? Funny I said it, but I just said it earlier in the beginning of the video about that corporate charter. 18 United States Code 922 subsection G of 9. And or applicable state law, because all state laws have to be subordinate to the federal government, which operates 10 miles square in D.C. Now, the last part of the contract is where you sign away your inalienable right. But in actuality, they can't take away something that's inalienable. It can't be removed. But for a time, which is the duration of the contract. So you acknowledge and said, I had read all the terms of the sentence or had read them. Even if you didn't, you just admitted that you did because they worded it so carefully. And explained to me, if all or part of this sentence is probated, I certify, what it says, I certify that I understand the meaning of the order of probation and the conditions of probation. So you're saying you acknowledge the conditions. I understand that violation of a special condition of probation could result in revocation of all time remaining on the period of probation. The last person to sign, your ass. So what are they saying? In but so much, they're saying that you can't own a firearm underneath the terms and conditions of probation. They make you sign it, and that's exactly what they use when they want to do revocation proceedings. All they do is bring that to you in front of the court and say, well, he said he agreed. That's how courts fuck us over, because they make us sign shit and then use our signatures against us. See, once you sign something, you contract, it's a wrap. Cruden versus Neely is a Supreme Court case. It says all men are independent of all institutions formed by his fellow man. He is not bound by any institution by his fellow man without his consent. You can only be sent to jail with your own fucking permission. Wish I would have known that 6 years ago. I would have definitely took it to trial. But it's over with. It's water under the motherfucking bridge. You live and you learn. So this is the reason why I'm giving my personal experience on what I dealt with to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? This is how you bust their ass. You bust their ass because there's an affidavit that does require rebuttal. Okay? It requires rebuttal. If indeed it is not rebutted, there will never stand a chance at trial. One of the most beautiful affidavits I use is called the Affidavit of Specific Negative Averment. On these lines, on this particular affidavit, which I compiled, I basically will write out, I am not a corporation, therefore I am not charged. So what you basically would give them is a written statement that whoever the fuck you saying is a convicted felon on the record. It's not. And here's the beautiful thing about affidavits. They're either resolved by agreement, by settlement, by discussion, or trial by a motherfucking jury. I'm not answering you shit until you can provide to me evidence that a corporation exists, because that's what you're charged. And this is the reason why a lot of individuals lose in court, is because they don't stand with their hands on their nuts. They got their nuts underneath their feet. So you go in there with the dog and pony show believing that you're charged with something, even though you're not. They're charging your trust. But I just told you and just read to you from my own personal experience. Once you are in that situation, you already are exonerated from guilt before you even get released from jail. But y'all keep believing, oh, I'm a convicted felon, I can't handle no gun. Oh, I'm a convicted felon, I can't handle no gun. Are you out of your fucking mind? You mean to tell me that you going to sit here and let a legal president I just read to you said shall not be infringed allow you to get your fucking head knocked off because you believe in a fucking lie? And pardon my harshness, but it is what it is. I can't deliver it any other way. Why are y'all believing in this illusion that you cannot? It simply says in the law that you can. But you contract your rights away for a limited time because remember, inalienable means it cannot be taken away from you. All you have to do is give this 3-page affidavit to the DA and tell that prosecutor, I would like for you to rebut this within 10 days or period, because guess what? I'm going to also enter this into evidence on the record in court, and that's what I'm going to present to a grand jury. Do you really think these people want to know that they're committing commercial fraud? You think that 12 jurors, of your peers will find this out? You think that they actually going to take that to trial? You'll crack the system in half. And stand on 10 toes. I don't have no fucking fear. Who you fear? I fear the creator. I don't fear man worth fuck. Man is weak anyway. His days are limited. What the fuck I'm fearing him for? So if I go before these individuals and let the jury know I'm not charged, what do you mean you're not charged? Good question, huge fucking answer. This is the thing that they never wanted y'all to understand in society. They never wanted y'all to have your grips on the law. That's why these bitches always win against y'all. And I call them exactly what they are. Profiteers. There's no justice. Every last one of them black robes could be bought and sold. Real talk. And before y'all embark upon this election in the next 4 years, y'all really need to start doing some homework on who y'all voted for. As an independent, I didn't vote because I could talk all the shit I want. Matter of fact, an independent can vote anytime they feel like it. Anytime when it becomes material to our interests. Yes, you can. But they'll never tell you that, though. But at the same token, people, if you indeed are charged as a convicted felon, specific negative averment will bust their ass on every trial that you take them to. I don't care how long they wait it out. Because the longer they wait it out, they know they lost. See, they're only going to take you there if they know you're unprepared. If you're prepared with this documentation, this knowledge I just gave you, take it with you. And that's in less than 20 minutes. You're not convicted felons, people. Stop letting these people dupe y'all into believing that y'all something that otherwise would just benefit their corporate agenda. You think I'm lying? Look up the legal definition of bench. Is it the judge practice from the bench? Look it up. Look up the root word of bench. Fucking judge is a money changer. Well, I'm here as a messianic figure to overturn the tables of the money changers. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of the situations where you have to understand, you only are what people call you. Am I a convicted felon? Fuck no. Because I've never been judged by a jury of my peers. A plea and a conviction are not the same. I don't give a fuck what a lawyer says. And I know lawyers watch my channel. I know law enforcement watch my channel. These motherfuckers aren't even educated on majority of the shit I say on my channel. Because guess what? They're trained to guide the system the way the system wants their brains to be led. They have a one-track fucking mind. I don't care how nice they are, and the more corrupt they are, that just shows them that they just got to their soul. But I'm telling you, they all work for the benefit of themselves first in the system. Because to them, it's just a job. But to you, it's your fucking life, and you better fight for it. Simple as that. Am I condoning any type of violence or anything for anybody to get it misconstrued? Absolutely the fuck not. I'm telling people how to keep your inalienable rights intact. Period. Now, if you want to go the route, the rigmarole, and go through the whole process and procedure, restoration of civil rights, no, I'm a voter. So what the fuck does that tell you? I push for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to ask these people for something. But if you want to go that route, cool. And if you're incarcerated or you have a loved one that's incarcerated, you need to get a habeas corpus in on their ass ASAP. If they're arrested under the pretenses of owning a firearm as a convicted felon. Now, caveat. If they are currently on probation or parole, you can't save them because that means that contract is still enforceable. Caveat. Emptor. Right? So yeah, if they're on parole, probation, or any type of supervision, no. Or they have pending charges, no, and they go work for them. But if they don't have any of those negative impending factors upon them, and they just got caught on the humbug, with no victims involved, get them out of jail. Stop making these people rich based on your ignorance and your otherwise indolence in the matter. Get proactive and get your family out of fucking jail. Now, if they have warrants, pending charges, or they have a victim, don't even try. Act like what I said don't even matter. If they did it, they did it. Period. But if they didn't, and it's a victimless crime because a mere possession of a weapon is not a crime. A mere possession is not a crime. It's not. The crazy thing I noticed about the human biological structural system, every other individual entity, even in the animal kingdom, has a right to protect itself. Why the fuck are living beings the only individuals that don't have the capability to use their mind and say, hey, I might have to bust a motherfucker head one day? You think a polar bear gonna ask that question, you run up on it? That polar bear gonna tear your damn face off. A tiger, jaguar, lion, hell, a honey badger. Even porcupines come equipped naturally with the right to protect themselves. Why are human beings so fucking dull? I'll tell you why. Because the people that are on the top are afraid the day you stand up for your motherfucking self. And that's how the American Revolution was won. In all colors, ages, nationalities, tribes, they fought. That's the only way you're going to keep your country, people. You can't let these people contract your rights away and then put you in the cage under false pretenses. That's misrepresentation. That's commercial fucking fraud at its best. So like I said, take what you will. I'm using my personal information. So bitch can't say nothing in my comment section. If they do, I'm going to check you. Straight up, I'm going to check you. Because I just showed you inalienable rights to protect your rights, your life, your property, period. Then they make you contract it away for a time. But then they tell you, you adjudicated of guilt. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Go on about your way. Go get your gun. The fuck? Who are you to tell me I can't have a gun when the law, Article 6, Supreme Law of the land, the Supremacy Clause. Man, fuck your state law. And if you want to go to trial about it, we'll go to trial and I'll just sue you on damages. It doesn't matter to me. Because once I get that shit dismissed, I'm going to sue your ass for false imprisonment. Everybody think lawsuits take time. No, it don't matter. If you spend 6 months in jail before you go to trial, what's another 6 months if you got to go fight a case? Come on, man. Y'all got to make sacrifice when it comes to this redemption process, because if you ain't really about that life, sit your fuck ass down. But if you about that life, I suggest you get active. You know what I'm saying? For real. Get active. Don't sit on your ass. Get active. But I just showed you how you could beat them at their crooked ass game. Because see, the only people who really win are the masters. And masters play by truth. And remember one primary objective. In commerce, truth is sovereign. Period. So by me telling the judiciary on paper, I'm not that entity, I don't care if they say it on record, blah, blah, blah. You have to rebut an affidavit with an affidavit. Your mere law conclusions and your objectivity does not mean a goddamn thing. Because when you go to trial, all of the smoke and mirrors come off and the burden of the proof is on the state. And guess what? The state has to prove that something that don't exist ever in reality does. I'd like to see somebody who lost a trial under those pretenses. Yeah, I think the fuck not. Yeah, I think the fuck not. Give it a shot. You won't be disappointed. Victimless. Individuals blamed for this. But if you did it, you did it. This ain't for you. But if you didn't, fight it. Take it to trial. Stay tuned for the next upload. It is what it is. See y'all soon. Peace, light, love. My email's in the video description. Consultations, whatever, available. Head into 2025 and beyond. It is what it is. Y'all take care. Stay tuned. Agents, man, fuck you. I'm out. 10-4. See y'all soon.